Good day guys, and welcome back to another episode. And today's video is an exciting one for me because, as you can see right here, I have a set of Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time in my pickup, and now the time has come. I have spec'd these out exactly how I wanted to get them, and I will show you guys all the specs. We're definitely going to be doing an unboxing, but I want to give a huge shout out to everyone over at Boost Auto Parts for helping make this video possible. And I am super stoked to get into this. This video is going to be a how-to video, how to install these Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors on my Duramax. One thing I do want to mention though is Boost Auto Parts, they don't only make tow mirrors for GM vehicles, they do it for Fords, Jeeps, Ram, all kinds of makes and models, and it's not just tow mirrors. They have a lot of other really cool accessories. So I will link these mirrors and their website down the video description down below so you can watch this video, enjoy this video, get all the info that you need, and when you're done, you can have a quick link to go see the information, but you can see everything that Boost Auto Parts has to offer. Hopefully this video will be as helpful and as informative as possible. It may be a little bit longer, but my how-to videos, I like to make it where you can watch that video and have the confidence where you can go ahead and hop into doing this job yourself. And if you hit a spot that's a little bit hard or kind of stumps you, you're not sure what to do, you can reference this video to help you along the way with installing a set of these mirrors or the wiring or whatever it may be, so you can have a smooth and seamless install. But that's enough of me talking. Let's hop into this box. Let's see what the mirrors are that I got, how I got them spec'd out, what they look like, and then get into the install. All right, so with these mirrors, the packaging is really, really nice. As I mentioned, I've already opened them up, and there is a certain reason for that. So I'm gonna go ahead, we'll open this box up. As you can see right here on the lid, Boost Auto mirrors are built to order, assembled by hand and quality checked right in the United States. So you can see that printed right on the lid here. So that is really cool for me personally. So right here, you're gonna see, I do have some bubble wrap here. This bubble wrap is not going to come in the top of your box. So very cool labeling with their logo on the packing tape. So in each one of these bubble wraps, there are the mirror caps. They are wrapped in this foam and then put in the bubble wrap. So quality there is super, super awesome. One thing I chose is I went with the painted mirror caps. That's why I opened this up, because I want this video to be a start to finish. I got these painted. I went to a local body shop and they are color matched, and they are the same color as a pickup. They are white. So we're going to have white caps on the mirrors. I think it's going to look really, really good. Real quick, here is one of the bottom caps as well. So you're going to have your two caps for your mirror, and they are wrapped, as I mentioned, and they're very, very well, very secure. And huge shout out to that, because these caps are plastic. Doesn't matter if they're the chrome ones, the black ones, or the color match. They're going to come a plain, kind of a yellowish color, as you can see in there. And then you got to get them painted. But they are wrapped up and protected very well. So then inside the box, you're going to have two more boxes. Each box is going to contain a mirror and some hardware. So I'm going to pull one of these boxes out. Just do that off camera. It's going to be a little bit easier. And I'll show you how this mirror is packaged within the box. So here's one of the mirror boxes. Just has a nice little pull tab. And then you can open it up. And as you can see inside this box, here is the mirror. Packed in here, foam all the way around it, nice and thick to protect them. This box didn't take any damage in shipping. If there was some damage, they are packed so well, it's not going to get damaged. I'm going to pull this mirror out. They have a nice cover over it to protect it in here as well, so let's pull it out and check it out. So as you can see, there's another piece of foam in the bottom of the box. And the foam just kind of wraps around every single little part on these mirrors to keep them protected. And then right here, you're going to have your mirror, and you have a very nice soft material cover on it. Harness is already installed in the mirror from Boost Auto. So I'm going to go over some options in the way I spec these mirrors out that I am super stoked about. So these are power fold. They do have the turn signal right here in the glass. Painted mirror caps. So on the top and the bottom, the painted caps I show you will go on there. Right here, we'll open this up a little bit. So I went with the smoked lens and with the LED strips. So it's not the individual dots. These mirrors are very, very heavy. I do have the switchbacks and running lights with the startup sequence, heated upper and lower mirrors. So super stoked about having the heated lower mirror. The reverse lights here, I did get the harness that this is going to work in reverse and with the dome lights. These lights are also upgraded to their high outputs. I will get some nighttime shots so we can see at night how bright these things are. So those are the specs that I got the mirror. These mirrors are fully loaded. Now it's time to get these things on. I'm going to go ahead and unpack the other mirror. It's going to be packaged the same. The hardware is going to be in there with that mirror. I will show you the hardware that comes with it. So inside the other box with the other mirror, right here, cool little bag. It is branded with Boost Auto. This is going to be all of the hardware that you're going to need. So however you spec your mirrors out, the hardware you need is going to be in here. So right here, these are their patented wireless technology for the power fold. These are the modules. So the packaging, as I mentioned, it's really, really good. Everything is very well protected. Right here is going to be the little piece for the reverse and dome lights. I went ahead and optioned in a couple of fuse taps. Here is a little harness. Here is another bag packaged very nicely. You got zip ties, you have your scotch locks, and you have another harness down here. And it's all in different compartments. Another one of the same harness that I just unpackaged. And then last but not least, another bag with harnesses in it. It does look like there's a lot of parts, a lot of harnesses, so that's why I'm going to be doing this install video for you to try to make it as easy as possible. If you're going to be doing this job yourself, you can follow this video step by step. So as you can see, I got them all laid out on the bench here. This is basically as if you were sitting in the pickup. This is going to be the driver's side caps. This bag here with a little extra harnesses in it. I'm going to assume this is going to be for the driver's side. Fuse taps, reverse dome, wireless module, harness. Passenger side mirror, caps, the bag with the harness, and this external harness, and the module for the wireless power fold. So before we get into the install, here are the tools that are going to be needed to do this. We're just going to start over here. This is just a homemade kind of pointy pick punch, and that's going to be for punching the holes to mount the wireless modules. I have a regular flat tip screwdriver and then just kind of a small pocket flat tip screwdriver. I use these a lot. That is not necessary. I have a 1/4 inch ratchet, a 3-inch extension, a 10mm socket, 7mm, both of those are in deep, and then a 7mm shallow. I just have those because sometimes a deep's better than a shallow, so in the 7mm, that's what I have. I have the 5/16 wrench for disconnecting the batteries. I have a plastic pry tool. Something along those lines is what you're going to want to be able to pry off the plastic panel so you don't damage them. A pair of needle nose pliers for reaching in, grabbing some wires, pulling them through tight places. A regular pair of pliers. I use these for basically crimping kind of wire taps and stuff like that. So that's what I'll be using for those scotch locks. I also have a pair of electrical pliers to crimp the butt connector, strip the wires, a test light because I'm going to use that to probe a wire to make sure we are getting into the dome light wire. I have a chunk of just regular wire for pulling wires through because we're going to have to pull some wires behind the center console and then also some through the firewall to access the fuse panel to gain power inputs for a couple of the wires. Some electrical tape for taping up wires. Tying them up nicely. You can use zip ties. I am going to use electrical tape probably because I noticed some of these harnesses don't have a covering on them, so I'm going to probably tape some wires together. We'll see when I get there. And then also I just use a little butane torch. If you're not familiar or comfortable using one of those aren't great to use for electrical heat shrink butt connectors and that kind of stuff. That's what I always use, but if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to have one. You can have a heat gun. I'm not sure if a hairdryer would get hot enough, but a heat gun definitely would and would be a safer option than an open flame like that is. But that is what I use for a lot of it. So those are going to be the tools that you're going to need for this install, and I will show using all these tools throughout the install. So let's head out, start getting the old mirrors off. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to get your old mirrors off, and I can't wait to get these cheap ones off. These are just a cheap set. I'll show them to you. If you've watched previous videos, you've seen them before. It's just the typical GM style tow mirrors. They're not GM ones. They rattle, they vibrate, they shake. So we're going to get those off and get them replaced with a very nice hand-built in the USA quality set. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to roll down both front windows, and then you're going to want to disconnect the batteries. You only need to disconnect the negative off the battery. If you have an auxiliary battery, which a lot of diesels do, you're going to have 2 batteries, so disconnect both negative terminals. I'm going to use a plastic pry tool. We're going to need to pry the lock off, and then also this panel around the door handle and this corner piece up in the corner here. Here's the door lock. Here's the corner piece. And there's the piece around the door handle. Now that we got those pieces off, there is a bolt here that we need to remove. Also one behind the door handle right up in here. And then we can lift this door panel up and take it off. This is going to take a 7mm socket. So there's that one. I have a short extension making it a bit easier. And then I'll get the one behind the door handle here. Now we can take the door panel and we can lift it up. I'm going to reposition because we will have to unhook the wires to the switches. And then also, if you have a light down in the bottom corner down here, we have to disconnect it as well. So that's all you have to do is just lift straight up on the door panel. Pull it away and then come in behind here. I will show these once I get the door panel out of the way, and unhook your wires. Here's what the connectors look like. These 3 just have a little piece. You push that in, wiggle it, it comes out. This one has a lock on it, and this gray piece will be sticking up top. Right behind it right here, you just push down and you can slide this gray piece back to unlock it, wiggle it, pull it out. This one I just pulled out. This is the bulb. You can come in with a little screwdriver, pop up this little lock right here, and unplug the wires out of it. My bulb is burnt out and I need to replace it, so I just pulled the whole fixture out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this foam insert out. This is going to give you access to the mounting nuts for the mirror. Now that I have the harness fished out of the door, we can go ahead and get this last clip right here, and then a 10mm socket to remove the 3 nuts. Hang on to the mirror, and that will remove the mirror. This is the old style mirror that I have that I was telling you guys about. As you can see, this is just your typical old style tow mirror. These were an aftermarket, very cheap, glass rattles. We are fixing that problem today. Now with the Boost Auto mirror, it's going to come with this extension harness right here, this big black plug. You're going to need to unplug it so you can fish all the wires through the door, and then you'll plug it back in. Once you have the harness pulled through, make sure that your gasket to the mirror on the outside is where it needs to be. Slide the mirror in, and then go ahead and install your 10mm nuts. They're not tight all the way, but I like to slowly go around evenly, tightening all of them. Taking a look on the outside, checking fitment. And then for me, I always like to come in by hand because you can tell that all of them are the same tightness compared to doing it with a power tool. Now in Boost Auto, it's very nice. They add these clips to route the harness where it is supposed to go. Just push those in, and that will hold the harness in securely. Come back in with this extension harness that you unplugged and plug it back in. It can only plug in one way. Don't force it, and you'll be good to go. Now that we have this done on this side, do the same thing on the passenger side. Get the old one off, new one mounted, and then we'll get into the wiring. Okay, so we're going to add the extension harness. We are on the driver's side. You're going to have this orange wire right here that is not in the connector. If you have running lights on your mirrors, you're going to use this orange wire. If not, you do not need to put it in. It's going to plug into this connector here. You can see there's a gray on the top, white on the bottom, orange on the side. It's a keyed connector, can only go one way. So we're going to go ahead and install this orange wire because I do have the running lights option on here. Putting this connector in is very easy. Just slide it in. It'll lock. Pull on it just a little bit, make sure it's in there, and then go ahead and plug this in. With that plugged in, we are going to go ahead and run this harness. You can run it through the door, through the boot, in between the door and the cab. We're going to pop that off. We're going to run these wires up in through there. So this is the boot I'm going to be taking off. Right at the top here, if you use a flat tip screwdriver, you can come in right at the top and depress the little tab, and it's going to release that boot. You're going to want to release it from the door and also from the cab of the pickup, because we're going to run the wires through this here, through this larger square opening in the door. It's going to be kind of hard to get my camera in here so you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this off and run my wires through there. Then we're also going to remove this panel along with this door seal plate, because the wires are going to come through right inside of here. So I've got the wires all stretched out. For me, I'm going to use a zip tie because I'm not going to poke a hole through that boot because it is very pliable, but I just have my wires electrical taped onto it to run through the door down through this cab boot here. With those wires ran, you're going to have your two harnesses for your driver's side if you have power fold. Both these harnesses are going to need to be hooked up, and I will show you how we hook those up. So with this harness with the two white connectors, you're going to have two corresponding white connectors left on your mirror harness. You're going to plug these in. You can't mix them up, so go ahead and plug those in. The next harness you have will have a fuse in it. You'll have some spade connectors, and then your module connector here. On this end, you're going to have two connectors. The one with the two orange wires you're not going to need, so you can fold that back, electrical tape it up. The blue ones you will need, and you have the female side of it on your mirror harness, and go ahead and plug that one in next. So as you can see, I have the power fold mirror harnesses ran through here. We are going to have to pull power off of this connector here. On the inside by the wires, right down in here, is a little tab. If you pull that tab down, this connector will slide right off just like so. Set this off to the side, and the wire we're tapping is pin 14. You can look on here, there is a 26, and then right here is a 14. If you flip it over, there is a 1 and then a 13. So 14 is going to be this orange wire on the very end right here that we're going to be pulling power from. So you can take one of these taps, you're going to go ahead and tap this orange wire right here, making sure none of the other wires are in the way. Take a pair of pliers and lock that down. It will lock into place just like that. That wire is now tapped into, so we can go ahead and hook up our power. So with that tapping, you will take your red wire, and you'll go ahead and you will just plug this in. It is very tight. You want to make sure that it is locked into place, and then you're going to go ahead and slide your connector back in. For the ground wire on this main harness that the first one we put in, the gray wire is going to be our ground. So you're going to want to do the same thing. Go ahead and take your red connector, put it on, take a pair of pliers, make sure it is lined up, squeeze it down, and it is locked in. You can now take the black wire and plug it into there for your ground. So now we have the harness wired in. These two plugins are going to go to the controller that will be behind the door panel for the power fold. So we have all of our wiring done on this side, and now we can go ahead. Here's all of our connectors that'll go to the door panel. We can go ahead, go to the passenger side, run our white, gray, and orange wires like we did on this side through, and get the passenger side ready to go. Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and pop these two panels off to run these wires to the inside. We're going to pop this door seal plate off first. And I'm just going to pop it just back to here, just so this front kick panel will clear coming out from underneath of it. I'll come back in with my pry tool, and I'll go ahead and pop this one off as well. With that one popped off, we now have access to take our wires and run them to the inside. Once you have the wires ran to the inside, go ahead and pop this boot back on. It's very easy to pop back into place. Keep your wires inside, because you're going to have to do the same thing with this wire harness on the passenger side and run it over here. We're going to do some connections, and then we're going to run it out to the fuse box. Our wiring harness over here is completely done. It does need some tidying up, but we will do that once we get the controller in on this door panel side. And this whole driver's side here is now done. We just need to run this harness and it's got a smaller harness for the controller on the passenger side, and I will show you that. Okay, so as I mentioned, on this side, you're gonna go ahead and run your harness. I had to install the orange wire on this side as well because I do have the running lights. I ran that down through the boot, and as you can see, I have the wires right here. So this is going to be exactly the same as the driver's side. We're going to take these wires and we're going to run them up underneath the dash here, behind the center console, and over to the driver's side, so we can hook these wires up the way they need to be hooked up, which I will show that as well. One thing I wanted to note real quick, on these boots, you can see that there is a flat spot right in here and a flat spot down on the bottom there. So if you just go on one of those flat spots with your flat tip screwdriver and push down, that is where the locking tabs are on these boots. They are very easy to pop off, but I just wanted to show that because this is a better angle right here for you guys to see that. Okay, so wiring in your door harness for the power fold is going to be the same on the passenger side as it is the driver's side. Your black wire is going to go to your gray connector right here. You're going to pull this apart just like we did on the driver's side, and you're going to tap into 14, which is the orange wire on here for your power. And then as you can see, I kind of just have these tied up nice because they're going to kind of come over here out of the way, but still allow me enough room to plug into my module. Your passenger side module will only have one plug-in. I went ahead and ran the wires to the inside here, and I just wrapped them up with some electrical tape nicely. That way they're not 3 wires just hanging out under the dash. It'll be a lot cleaner, a lot easier to tie up underneath of the dash. And I went ahead and went over to the driver's side, ran a piece of wire through behind the center console, and I have the wires hooked to that piece of wire so I can pull them through to the driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and pull these wires through, tie these wires up however you would like up under the dash, just to keep it nice, neat, and clean. I'm going to get them tucked up as far back up in here as I can, and I'm going to secure them with zip ties. So I'm going to get these pulled over. I'm going to get this tied up. Over here, the door is done, other than the wireless module. So the door panel is ready to go back on. Once we get those wireless modules put in, I will show you how I'm going to do those. And we will also hop over to the driver's side here, and I will show you how we are going to wire everything up. Okay, as you can see, I have wrapped this harness out of the driver's side door, just making it look nice with some electrical tape, keeping all those wires together. I have my harness for my passenger side right along this bottom metal rail right here. I have ran it on the inside of that, and I have zip tied it to it. It's just a very nice clean look. You cannot see any of the wires from that harness on the passenger side. I have the 2 gray wires right here with an eyelet connector. These are going to be the grounds. There is a nut right back up in here. My finger is pointing at it right up in here. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of dark up in there. But that nut right there's a good shot. It'll take a 10 millimeter. I'm going to take that nut off, hook up my grounds, tighten it down. I'll show that to you. And then we will have the white and orange wires to deal with. And then we will also have the reverse and dome light function on these mirrors. So I will show you how to wire that in as well, and where we will be getting the power for everything. So right up in here, you can see that I went ahead and I got that eyelet on. Try to get a closer shot for you guys. This is kind of a hard one. There's the nut right there with the eyelet. Here is the 2 wires from my passenger side and the 2 wires right here from my driver's side. I'm going to get these cut to length, get everything wired up as we need, and bring you along to show you exactly how we're going to do that. One thing to note, this driver's side is got a lot of excess, which is great. You're going to want to save those wires because you're going to need to run them underneath the hood to the fuse box where we'll be pulling some power. Okay, so I want to keep this wiring as simple as possible. I haven't tied any of this up. You can see there's an orange wire from the left and an orange wire from the right. This one is going up. The single is going to the fuse box up front. I will show you where that goes. You want to tie the 2 mirrors in to one side of the butt connector, and then have your power wire come to the other. The orange is for the running lights. I did have extra of the orange from the driver's side door to run from the butt connector up to the fuse box. So let's run up there and see where the orange wire goes to get the power. So using the supplied fuse tap right here, this is the trailer park. You can see this red wire. There is the orange right here. So that is going to be for the trailer park. I didn't show pulling all these wires, hooking these wires up, putting the butt connectors in, all of that, because I didn't want to make it super confusing. So I want to show how to tie them together and also where they go. The second fuse type you're going to get is for the trailer backup. This one is going to be for the white wire down below. The white wire is going to be for the reverse lights on the mirrors. Those are going to be the clear lights facing to the rear. So if you only run just the one wire like it is now, when you put it in reverse, the lights will come on. When you take it out of reverse, they will go off. That is the only time those lights will function, unless you get the 2-function piece like I got, and I'll show that to you as well. With the fuse taps, you just pull the fuse in this location, add it in. You can see there's 2 fuses on this one. You add that fuse in with the fuse that's provided, and then put that fuse tap into its location. Once you have these ran, you can put the fuse box cover back on. So if you do not do the 2-function, you're going to do the same as the orange wires for the running light. You're going to have 2 that come into a BET connector, one from the left mirror, one from the right mirror, and then you're going to have the one that runs up to the fuse box. If you're doing the 2-wire function, you're going to run a wire back, that is the white, from the fuse box that I just showed. You can run that back, and then it's going to go into this connector here. You got your single output, and then you got your 2 individual inputs. So this wire coming into this on the 2-wire side is from the fuse box, so that will be for reverse. The second one is going to splice into your dome light wire, and then coming over here, these 2 wires in this butt connector, one's going to the left mirror, one's going to the right. This harness right here, when you pop this panel off, it has some foam on it. If you undo the foam, you're going to see a gray wire with a black stripe. You're going to go ahead and use your wire tap and a spade connector, and this is another piece of wire off of the driver's side harness that was long enough, and then you're going to hook that in to the other side of this splitter. So basically, you're going to have your dome light input and your reverse light input with your single output going to each mirror. I will hook that up. You can tuck this in here nice and neat. And as you saw down here, all my wiring is very nice and neat, except for what I left loose right here, the orange ones for the running lights, to show you guys. So all of that is nice and neat, tucked up. And that is something you want to do, is good wire management. Coming over to the driver's door, you're going to plug your harnesses back in as you unplug them. Very simple, very easy. On the driver's side, you're going to have 2 connectors to the wireless module if you're doing power fold like I am. You cannot get these connectors mixed up. They have their dedicated spots that they go into that wireless module. The passenger side, you're only going to have 1 connector. Other than that, the passenger side is going to be exactly the same as this driver's side. So now that I've shown all the wiring, I hope that it is nice, clear, and precise. If you're doing this job, I'm going to show you where I mounted the module on the inside of the door panel, and then I'm going to go ahead, put the door panel up here, hook all these wires, hook all these connectors up. I don't really feel that I need to show hooking the connectors up, plus it's going to be very hard to see. So I'm going to get this door panel on, get my dome light wire in on that as well, and then we are going to test these mirrors out. So as you can see on the inside of my driver's door panel, I just mounted the wireless module right here to this foam backing. It is secure in here. The plugins are on the top, easy to access when you have the top of this popped off to get down here to unplug them if you need to. And I just used zip ties that were included, and I just used a punch to poke 2 holes through this thick foam insulation sound deadening material with the zip ties to mount it on. So that is the driver's side door panel. I'm going to get it all mounted up like I mentioned, and we're going to test these mirrors out. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the caps. And then the moment that everyone loves, and those white mirror caps set these mirrors off. That looks absolutely amazing. I'm loving it. All right, so as you can see, I have everything put back on. I did the kick panel, covered that up. I've got the dome reverse splitter inside there. Got everything put together, door panels back on. Everything is hooked up. So now is time to check the function of the mirrors. So these are the sequential switchback running lights on here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the lights on, but before I do that, I'm gonna set you guys up because it does have the startup sequence. I want you to see that as well. So that is really cool. So we'll check that out. We'll check the turn signals. I will show the reverse lights and the dome lights. So that is going to be, when I unlock the pickup, they're gonna come on with the dome lights. When I put it in reverse, they're gonna come on with the dome lights. We're gonna get some nighttime shots on this as well. So there is the running light with the startup sequence, which looks really cool. Now I'll show the sequential turn signal. So it is going to run across on the mirror. So let's check that out. So there is the turn signal, which I think looks absolutely awesome. It is a nice, very smooth function that it is doing. It's not choppy, it's not glitchy. It looks absolutely awesome. I'm loving that look. I'll shut the turn signal off and you'll see it switch right back to the running light. So that is on the front side of the mirror. Absolutely loving the way that these lights look, the way the mirrors look, the overall, everything about these mirrors, loving it. I'm going to show on the back because we do have the turn signal in the glass. And then as I mentioned, we have the reverse and the dome light function for the rear facing clear LEDs. I did opt for the high output LEDs in these mirrors. So when I unlock my pickup, they're going to turn on as an accent lighting, which I think will be really nice, but let's check that stuff out as well. So when I take my key fob and unlock the pickup, you can see right there. So these lights are going to come on with the dome lights. So if you turn the switch on in the cab for your dome lights, these lights are going to come on. When you unlock the pickup, same thing, they're going to come on. And then when I lock the pickup, when the dome lights turn off, as you can see right there, they fade out. So these are really awesome. I can't wait to see what they're going to look like at night, which I am going to show. I want to see how bright they are and how nice it is and how well it illuminates the area when you're coming up to the pickup to the door for a nice approach accent lighting. And then right here in the glass, as you can see, that is the turn signal that is built in. And as I mentioned, the upper glass and lower glass on these mirrors are heated. Let me turn the turn signal on so I can show you how bright that is in the glass. So as you can see, when I opened the door, dome lights came on, so these lights came on as well. But here is the turn signal. So as you can see, that was the power fold there. I will show you how to make the power fold work because there is a sequence you have to do on the switch with the wireless modules that are installed within the door panels. But that power fold is really nice. That's going to come in very handy for some of these tight parking spots. Another thing I want to show is I'm going to get to the front. These mirrors are already leveled, so I am very pleased that Boost Auto has these mirrors leveled right when you get them. I do not have to level them, so they're level and they look really nice. I will show a view where you can see both mirrors and I'll do the power fold again. So as you can see right there, the mirrors are level. I'm going to do the power fold once again so you can see them. Sometimes there's just a little bit of a delay, but it is a wireless module and it's not a big deal, but I will show that. So there's the power fold feature, and I just love that I do not have to level these because these mirrors can get a little funky, kind of batwing looking. They kind of just angle up, but being leveled eliminates the need for popping the caps off right in here and add in the washers that you have to add to bring the mirrors down. You don't have to mess with any of that. So huge shout out to Boost for leveling these mirrors right when you get them so you don't have to mess around with that. As I mentioned, I will get some night shots that I'm going to add in as well of the lights so you can see them at night and how they look. So for the power fold, you just go over here, select it to the left mirror. You're going to do a left, left, right, right. 2 quick beeps. When you push down, the mirrors will power fold. When you push up, they will go ahead and fold back out. This does have a delay. You will get a couple quick beeps, so you can't adjust the glass, but if you want to shut it off, you just do the left, left, right, right, and you get 3 fast beeps, as you can hear there. So that means that it is deactivated. They're not going to fold, and now you have full control to adjust your mirrors. These are power adjusting, and adjusting them is exactly the same as your old mirrors would have been. You select which side, and then up, down, left, right, to get your mirrors set up how you need them. For me, overall, it adds, I think, an awesome look to my pickup. Absolutely loving these mirrors. The color match for me, I think, is a must. It just looks so good. I like the smoked out LED strips because they don't just stand out and they kind of just blend in with the black, so I think that is very sharp looking as well. But these mirrors are extremely high quality. You can tell that there is a lot of effort that goes into them making these mirrors. They're not just thrown together. They're very quality, and you can get any option that you want, which is really cool. You do not have to get a fully decked out set of mirrors like I have. You can just select for a few options if you want, but you can have them custom built however you want your mirrors set up. Okay, so as I promised, we were gonna get some night shots. So I'm gonna go ahead and unlock my pickup, and that's gonna go ahead and activate those lights facing the rear on the mirrors for the reverse and dome. We'll see how bright they are. And as you can see, they are extremely bright. So this makes it very nice when you're coming up to the door because it has everything lit up. Absolutely love that. That looks really, really nice. And it is very bright as it is shining all the way across the street. As they go out, you can see. So that lighting is going to be really nice to have, especially at night, unlocking your pickup, coming to it to get in. Here is the driver's side. So now let's see the startup sequence on the lights, running lights and turn signals now that it is darker out. So as you can see right there, there is the running lights. The dome lights are on, so those nice bright lights are on the back, but you can see the running lights are very bright. They're very crisp and clear, especially with that tinted lens that they have on them. This is just the running lights, so the headlights are not on, but you can see how bright the running lights on the mirror are. I really like that. It looks really sharp. As you saw the startup sequence, that also looked really cool as well, personally, I thought. So there is the running lights. So now let's check out the sequential signals. So I went ahead and threw the hazards on. Get a closer look there. As you can see, still very smooth, nice, crisp operation. And you saw the switchbacks there working. So there is both sides. I just threw the hazards on. And I love that sequential look, that chasing effect. Really sharp. We'll come around to the other side. I'll show you. You can actually see the turn signal in the glass. But the turn signal is very bright and visible as well. These mirrors are just absolutely awesome. I'm gonna set the camera back down, so I will turn the hazards off so you can see the switchback work go back to the running lights. So that is it, going back to the running lights. And as you see, every time I open the door, because the dome lights are on inside, those super bright rear-facing lights come on. I think those lights are going to be very nice, especially when you put it into reverse when they come on at nighttime when you're backing up if you're in a low lit area, because it definitely illuminates the rear tire. And with this lower glass in the mirror, I have it set where I can see that tire, so you can see any obstacles or anything that you might hit backing up. So those are going to be extremely handy. These things look absolutely awesome. All right, so there you go. There is the full install. Hopefully, if you are watching this video just because you want to see what these mirrors look like, how they are to install, the lighting options, how did the lights look, hopefully it was helpful and informative for you, especially if you're installing a set of these and you're referencing my video to help you along the way. Hopefully it's helpful and informative. And there is some things that I didn't show, like pulling the wires, because I feel that pulling wires, yes, you kind of need to know how to do, but it is very simple and very easy. So I like to show the most important parts of where you're getting power, how to route wiring, how to mount them up, and all of that. So hopefully this was helpful and informative. And as you can see with a smile on my face, these mirrors just blow me away. Everything from the quality of them to the fit and finish, the way they look on my pickup, I am absolutely in love, and I definitely am very happy that I have a set of Boost Auto Parts tow mirrors on my pickup, because they are not like the cheap, cheesy ones that I have. They are very, very quality. I absolutely love that they are handmade in the US, and you can get all kinds of different options and spec them out exactly how you want. And the light options that I have on my mirrors, I absolutely love. Huge fan of. And I showed them in the daytime and at night. And two of those options that I like the most are the rear-facing white lights. So when I'm walking up and I unlock my pickup, I have nice ambient lighting so I can see it if I'm in a darker area and I'm trying to get to my pickup. So I have some nice lighting there. And the sequential turn signals, Those things are so sweet looking. That has a nice smooth operation to them, and I am just a huge fan. That's not the only things I like. The Power Fold is absolutely awesome. I'm gonna love that for tight parking places, and every other option that I have on them, I absolutely love. But those are my top 2 favorite things about these mirrors. But definitely drop a comment down below. Let me know, what do you think of them? Do you have a set? Are you looking at getting a set? Yes, they are a little bit expensive, but quality does not come cheap. So that is what I'm gonna say with these mirrors, is quality doesn't come cheap. You get exactly what you pay for. You buy a cheap set off of eBay, you're gonna get a cheap set. You buy a nice quality hand-built set of tow mirrors from Boost Auto Parts, spec to what you want, you are gonna get that nice quality fit and finish and product with their tow mirrors. But throw down in the comments, what do you think of it? Do you have a set? Are you thinking about getting a set? And let me know what you thought about the install, if it was helpful and informative for you as well. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the bell, turn on all post notifications so you don't miss a future upload, and smash that thumbs up if you like the video. But thank you so much for taking time out of your day to stop in and check out this video. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated. But I will catch you all in the next one, and until then, take care.